Hi folks, my perspective here, and I was surfing on the internet having a look at some flat earth debunking videos, and I came across this one video and I thought I'd share it with you guys. It was quite amusing, by a fellow called himself I-Rabbi-T, the House of Wisdom.
The Flat Earth Conspiracy. So, before I share my thoughts and wisdom about this subject,
and this is the wisdom we had to share.
because the truth is, the horizon is not flat at all. I've been teaching esoteric wisdom for over 10 years, and I am also a qualified graphic artist.
The horizon, for instance, is always completely flat.
You see, that's actually a completely false and wrong statement, 100%. The dynamics have to do with relevance to size and perception. You see, when you're looking at the horizon and you think and you believe and assume that it is indeed straight and flat, you are actually 100% wrong. And that's why you can get any photo that you personally take, or off the internet, whatever, of sunsets and horizons, and you'll always get a true essence of the level by the water level. And when you make a straight line from edge to edge of the water, every single time you will always find that the mid-L, the middle, will always rise above because of the arch. So go ahead and you can measure the edge, drag that line, or measure the middle with the exact same measurements on any picture you take or you find, and you will always find that the middle will always rise above the 2 points of the edges.
Sir, if it wasn't for dickheads like you, there wouldn't be any thievery in this world, would there? Sir, no sir! Get down!
Right, so let's just analyze what this guy is saying. I-Rabbi-T is saying that the horizon is always arched. There's always an arc. Well, this simply cannot be. Because if you extended that horizon, remember the horizon goes 360 degrees around you, that arc would have to continue around you. And this doesn't happen. So, if I take a panorama, I'll take 5 or 6 images of the horizon around me, I'll stitch them together. Does it look like this? The horizon would have to continue to bend around me. No. The horizon is 100% flat. That's the only way that you can stitch all these photographs together and the left side will meet with the right hand side. So truth, I-Rabbi-T, House of No Wisdom, consider yourself debunked.
Well now, let's just see if there's anything missing.
Rise above the 2 points of the edges. It's funny because years ago I actually tested this and did this myself just because I was curious. But like I said, grab any photo that you've taken or you find off the internet and go ahead and match up the edges, and you will find every single time that the middle will always rise above, ever so slightly. Because the arc of the earth, because of the roundness of the globe, and thus the reason that every single picture that you assumed was flat was actually slightly rounded.
Well, that's not true. Because as you remember, the horizon is 360 degrees around you. So if there's a bump in the water in front of you and you turn and rotate around you, that bump would have to stay there. And if that bump follows you well then the curve you're seeing is from the camera lens. The only way that you can rotate 360 degrees around you and the horizon stays at the same level, it has to be flat. It's impossible for there to be a curve in the horizon. So, truth, I-Rabbi-T, house of no wisdom, consider yourself debunked again.
Rounded and arced. And that's exactly why this guy right here does not take the red line to the edges of his pictures that he's trying to convince you of that are flat. Because when you look at the edges, you'll see that if you continued those lines, they will prove that indeed they are not flat whatsoever, but are curved and arced ever so slightly. So I used his graphics, and you see he lined up the middle, and then when it came to the edges, he realized himself that it was actually slightly starting to taper off because of the slant and the curvature of the earth.
So it's just mindless garbage. The fact is, the horizon is flat. Imagine if you're on a surfboard in the middle of the ocean. We wrap that scene around you, and as you rotate your surfboard, the horizon is flat, completely flat all around you. The only way that this can happen is the horizon must be flat. There's no bump in the horizon. So even if we take into account the fact of the ripples in the ocean is still flat. It's rippling all around you on that same level. So once again, truth, I-Rabbi-T, house of no wisdom, you are debunked.
Holy... What is that? What the f*** is that? What is that, Private Pile?
Sir, jelly donuts, sir!
A jelly donut?
Sir, yes, sir!
Private Pile has dishonored himself and dishonored the platoon. I have tried to help him, but I have failed.
Very complex. I mean, I can't believe all of these manufactured bullshit lies. You see, they're trying to convince you that when you're looking out a window in an airplane, that the horizon line is eye level. And that's not true whatsoever. You see, and that's exactly why they had to actually cut out that window and place an image there, because they will not find one that will show and prove what they're saying, but I can show and prove you exactly.
Well, truth, I-Rabbi-T, douchebag, scumbag, this next clip is for you.
Fox 3 close, northern, south group, 29,000. Talk line, Fox 3, 2 ship, north arm, south group, 095, 44, 29,000. Talk crank, south. South arm, south group, maneuver, 28,000, turning hot. Talk 1, target there. Talk 4, target, south arm, south group. Talk 4, Fox 3, south arm, south group. Talk 1 and 2, reference 320. 3 and 4, reference west. Now back, talk continuing to push, weapons green. Combat 4-5. Talk 1, north arm, south group, turning hot. Talk 2, pitbull. Talk 1, kill 2 ship, bullseye, 104, 24, 31,000, F-18, 20,000. Talk 2, spike, notch north. Heads up, north group, turning hot, combat. Light squad, combat 4-5, broad, north group.
And the way I see it, ladies, you owe me for one jelly donut. Open your mouth.